on, guys, and welcome to the F1 Journey round number 12 here for the Italian Grand Prix. And obviously we've got a lot to digress as we move into this Grand Prix weekend, so let's get straight into it. The conditions over at Audi are not improving. Both Bottas and Butler were shown to row once again in the press conference. Devon Butler was asked about the entire situation with regards to Audi and how he felt about Bottas leaving the team, and Devon Butler kind of just completely shrugged away the entire question. Valtteri Bottas then stepped in and said, "I'll tell you exactly how he feel about the whole situation," and then the two of them just continued to have a bit of a row, and they were forced to leave their press conference, leaving just both Tom and Reese in the press conference on their own, or the drivers' press conference, and it was very awkward for them. They both just laughed and just had a chat with each other, really. So that was quite awkward. So again, I mean, Bottas is leaving out at the end of the season anyway, but still, very, very high tensions over on that side of things. During that press conference, Reese has gone ahead and attacked the media following last week's incident. Of course, Reese has been involved in this entire Marquez situation for a very long time now, and obviously Tom and Daniel Ricciardo were involved in issues with the media. More importantly, Tom was when he was involved in a bit of a skirmish with one of the Autosport journalists who eventually started to lash out against him, and basically Tom reverse mind tricked. Reese has come back and hit back at everyone, saying that he spoke to Tom privately regarding the agent. Tom knew his name, which is how obviously he told him to stay away. And also then, the crucial thing which is now starting to spread around here is that Tom went and spoke to Daniel Ricciardo on Friday, and he tried to find out who said that they warned Reese about Marquez. Now, Tom has said that in this entire situation, he never told anybody else that about this situation, and basically now we're starting to get puzzled as to somebody said that Reese had been told to stay away from Marquez. No, Tom didn't tell anyone from the media. Ricciardo has denied saying he said anything to anyone about this situation. So now it's about who actually broke the news out that Tom and Ricciardo knew in the first place. Someone else was involved in the conversation as well, and they kind of want to find out who it is, because while they've just decided to open up on a very serious conversation without them really knowing. Bit weird on that one. Bit weird. Now we're going to go over to the transfer centre, see what's going on in the land of driver transfers. And first things first, Lewis Hamilton has announced that he's going to be on the grid next season. Last week we saw that Hamilton had plenty of offers from plenty of teams, some of them in roles which didn't actually involve being a racing driver. However, Lewis Hamilton has scratched those rumours and said he's going to be on the grid next season. Which team he's going to be at, though, doesn't look like it's going to be McLaren, because the rumours are still suggesting that Sam still wants Hamilton out of McLaren. We saw, I believe it was back at the German Grand Prix, if I can remember off the top of my head, that Sam suggested that Hamilton needs to leave McLaren. And apparently those sources are still live and wide. So I believe next time around in Azerbaijan, we're going to go and find Sam and see what he's got to say about the entire situation now. Next up is quite an interesting one here. Tom has apparently had a very surprising offer, which is why he stalled his Red Bull contract negotiation talks. Now, Tom started the negotiations a long time ago into the beginning of the season. They then got cancelled because Tom wanted to focus on racing. They then renegotiated and started again. The contract negotiations have now stalled. However, something's come up and it's now causing Tom to really consider his options. Maybe it might be that there's an offer too good that he'll have to leave Red Bull. But it could be a case that he just wants to listen to offers before making his decision final. Speaking of Red Bull, unfortunately, Sebastian Vettel is going to be retiring from the grid for Formula 1 next season. However, he's still going to remain as a chief personnel over at Red Bull and be working alongside Christian Horner and Dr. Helmut Marko. Of course, Vettel built his entire championship reign with Red Bull, and he says that he doesn't want to leave. He wants to stop racing. However, he doesn't want to stop being in Formula 1, and has decided he's going to take a personnel job over with Red Bull, which is good to see, at least for him, and at least he's happy. Now we're going to go over to the race news to finalise things off for the briefing for today. First things first, Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes and McLaren have all brought upgrades to Monza. We've seen that McLaren have been blasting away in these past few races. Now the other three teams are trying to come at them, but McLaren have also brought some upgrades. But despite that, the three teams that are chasing McLaren, so that's Red Bull, Ferrari and Mercedes, have all found more time with their power unit upgrades compared to McLaren, meaning the gap is now slightly smaller. McLaren still overall have the fastest package. However, it looks like Mercedes seem to be the closest to McLaren at the moment, and we seem to have that format of McLaren, Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull as the overall pecking order. And finally, looking further back down the grid, Williams are showing very strong pace around Monza. We know that Williams have got a decent power unit in the back of the car. They've got an awful chassis and aero. However, with Monza being Monza, you just got to be fast in a straight line most of the time. And it's clearly working for them. So let's see if they can get anything surprising out of this race. And let's go to the not the Azerbaijan, what am I on about? The Italian Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Fox298 here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of the F1 Journey for you guys today here on the channel. Today we are here for round number 12, which is the Italian Grand Prix. And hopefully you guys can sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episodes. And if you do, obviously, feel free to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed already, as we are getting very, very closer now to the season finale with me and Sam going at it head-to-head. But as we go towards the Italian Grand Prix, the car felt the best it's ever been. We've got a very good engine upgrade that has come onto the car for this race, and it does mean now that we're pretty much out of the way of the likes of the Audis, the Porsches, and the Renaults in terms of power units. It looks like now we're just slower than Mercedes, Ferrari, and also McLaren. So I'm not too upset about that. I'm really, really pleased with that. First lap that we did was actually pretty good. It was a decent benchmark. And my second lap, I wasn't able to improve on it. I actually lost time and just decided to abandon the lap. It just wasn't good enough. Here's my final flying lap, though. We're about a tenth or so up, 2 tenths up, going in towards the start-finish line. So we crossed the line now. It is going to be 4th place on the grid, and I can be satisfied with that result. And it just goes to show that the performance is definitely there in the car, and we've really made a good step forwards with the performance side of it. And as you can see, that was the closest qualifying session you will ever see. The top 6 separated by less than a tenth of a second. That is ridiculous, and Alonso was only a tenth off himself, just over a tenth there. So yeah, what an epic qualifying session that was. Crucially though, Sam qualifies down in P10, so he had a scrappy session, and our championship rival not getting the best of it. But obviously, Italy is the easiest place to overtake at, and with McLaren having the best power unit still on the grid, not by much anymore, but still got the best power unit, it does mean that he's going to be right up there. He'll catch us up later. So we've got to take advantage of the track position we've got. Heading into the race then, we're going to start on the super soft tyres, and decided to change the strategy and go with super soft to the soft tyres. I've always made it work on the game, so there's no reason why I shouldn't, and it just allows me to be on a faster compounder tyre for the end of the race. Might work out, might not, who knows. But anyway, we've got 5 red lights then for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's see what we can do at the temple of speed, and it's lights out. Here we go then to start the Italian Grand Prix off in some style then, as we get a good getaway there. One of the Porsche cars of Nico Rosberg pulling out quite early out of the slipstream as we now make the drag down towards turn 1. No one in the slipstream of us, but we're going to go down the inside of the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc, and then he tries to come back at us into the second plate of the chicane, but we get the job done just about now. It's going to be a straight drag actually towards the Curva Grande here. Lewis Hamilton, though, the pole sitter, leads the Grand Prix ahead of Reese, and then we just jump in front of Charles Leclerc. Good start for us though, up into 3rd place. Leclerc has a little look in towards the chicane, but it's not going to work for him on that time, and we secure ourselves 3rd place then, and my teammate Vettel up into 5th place. So both the Red Bulls with a good start to the race then. So positive signs for us at the moment, as Aston Martin, of course, crucially brings finally some engine upgrades. Obviously, Mercedes and Ferrari have bought some themselves, but Reese now is trying to pursue Lewis Hamilton, but we're still not getting any closer. Charles Leclerc very close to the back of my rear wing, pulls over to the outside lines. We make the drag down towards Ascari on this occasion, but we're going to go to the inside line, defend it quite comfortably against Charles, and that's the first wave of attack done from Charles Leclerc. But I need to now get onto the back of Lewis Hamilton and Reese, who are already pulling off into the distance, because I need the slipstream in front. Charles Leclerc taking full advantage of mine. In fact, the whole grid is taking advantage of mine. Now I need to try and get back into range here. Onto lap 2 of the Grand Prix now, looking a little bit ahead here. This is exactly what I wanted. Hamilton and Reese are going into battle, and that's just allowing this nice little train of cars, which is led by me, to get back onto these top 2 teams, this tails here. And Reese now slots into the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton through the Curva Grande. They go. Reese going to go to the outside line here versus Lewis Hamilton in towards the chicane. He goes for it around the outsides here, holds on in there, then takes the inside line, gives Hamilton a little bit of a shove on the exit, and claims the position. So a great overtake there through and towards the Les Modes we go. And now, as you can see, onto the straight now towards the Ascari chicane. Leclerc once again in my slipstream as we now try and pull over to the inside line to defend against Charles. Now going in towards Ascari this time around. Vettel there is under pressure from George Russell. We're going in towards the chicane there. I think we actually took I'm pretty sure it was that clip there that we took a track limit warning there for turning in too early into the chicane. So I need to remember that for next time and make sure that we just don't make critical errors, because we're going to be attacking and defending, hopefully, a lot in this race. Now, as you can see, Reese is going around the outside of Lewis Hamilton in towards the Parabolica. So that's a little bit of a brave one there from Reese. But as they blast down the straight, you can see Reese there getting in front of Hamilton and staying in front now. As we can see, George Russell is on the back of my teammate Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton also trying to go for a move on Reese up front. Sam is also closing up to the back of this lot now. So I told you, it really wouldn't be that long since he got onto the back of us. And now Reese there is under pressure from Lewis Hamilton to the top two. Still going at it here. In fact, it's just Mercedes and Red Bull. Mercedes and McLaren, should I say, going at it at the moment. As Reese now slots back in behind Lewis Hamilton. But now, again, going to try the exact same carbon copy maneuver as he did the last lap around. This time, is it going to work out for him, or is Hamilton going to remember from last time? No, it doesn't work out for Reese. It compromises Lewis Hamilton. But what it's done is brought myself and Leclerc right into the top two's fray. There you can see them right there. Hamilton's a little bit closer to Reese on this lap, so it means that he's going to get a better slipstream and a better drag against Reese and pull away from me marginally. Leclerc is going to stay on the back of me, but I'm still carrying good slipstream against Hamilton, and I can just defend the position, not really have to take any defensive line, just let Leclerc just drop himself out a little bit, back end slides a little bit on the exit of Ascari, which I noticed a lot in this race, but I was pushing absolutely flat out. And now as we go on to lap 4 of the Grand Prix here, Reese and Hamilton going side by side through the Parabolica. Reese on the outside, Hamilton on the inside. Lewis takes the position in the end. We've not got DRS though on this occasion. Leclerc does have DRS though versus myself. So Reese now is going to blast through on the straight. He doesn't have DRS. Hamilton's got it. Leclerc takes third place off of us. Now he's going to have a look at the top two here, see if he can find a way through, but they boxed in Charles Leclerc. Nowhere for him to go. Towards the chicane they go now. Reese takes onto the position. Hamilton though is still going to fight on in there. They're still going to go side by side in this attack. Leclerc though is going to sit comfortably in behind, and the top four now are all in contention. Leclerc, unfortunately though, does get the move on me, which is a little bit frustrating, but he had DRS. I didn't know. Leclerc making advancements, trying to go on the attack against Hamilton in towards the chicane, but Hamilton is forced to brake later, attack Reese, and he does so, gets the move done on Reese. But this time, unlike last time, Reese is going to try and fight this one a little bit harder. Around the outside of the first Lesmo now Reese goes versus Lewis Hamilton. This time, it's going to really work out well for Reese, because around the second Lesmo now, he goes around the outside, but it just doesn't work out how Hamilton can stay out on top. Meanwhile, Sam in the background there is making an attack on George Russell. He's passed my teammate Vettel, and now he's attacking Russell. Leclerc, though, breezes through for second place. Now he's going for it on Lewis Hamilton. This will literally send the Tifosi into complete crazy land, and it's not worked out, though, but they're still side by side, and now here comes myself onto the back of Charles Leclerc. Going to go towards the inside line here. Hamilton now defending the lead. There's literally 6 cars all fighting for the same race lane. We're going 3 abreast in towards the Parabolica. We sneak our way through into the middle, and that is us now up into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. But here we go. Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, Mercedes. Literally, there are 6 cars all right up against each other, fighting for the lead. It's like the NASCAR mod on F1, apart from the fact this is not any NASCAR mod. It's just got the F1 Journey mod on it. And as we go in towards the first corner here, it is myself that leads the Grand Prix now versus Charles Leclerc in second place. Reese is in third. Sam has moved up into fourth place, and George Russell and Lewis Hamilton are now fighting for P5 and P6, and if they keep the scrap on any longer, it's going to drop them further back, so they need to be careful of that. On to lap 6 of the Grand Prix now, and Reese is down to the back of me here. So Reese has passed Charles Leclerc. Now he's going to make his overtake on me. We get a little bit of a screen freeze, which just dips us onto the grass slightly. And I saw that Charles Leclerc, Sam now, is 1.1 seconds behind, which means he's not in DRS or slipstream range. So I decided carefully not to fight Reese as much as I probably could have. As Sam now is under pressure from Charles Leclerc. Fantastic helicopter cam here as we watch George Russell just sitting behind, waiting for something to happen as my teammate Vettel makes a move on Hamilton. Leclerc locks up, and Sam just gets an easy overtake back into third place there, but it's Sam in third versus Charles Leclerc. We've got a yellow flag up ahead, and it's one of the, I couldn't quite catch that then. I think it was a Williams car there, and we've got another phenomenal helicopter cam here as we see George Russell now going for his attack on Charles Leclerc for fourth place. Now he's going to try and look at Sam here as Hamilton tries to pull out on Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton now goes for it on Charles Leclerc in towards the chicane, so going for a double overtake here, but Sam maintains his position. George Russell stays in P4, but Hamilton there slots himself in front of Charles Leclerc, so the Ferrari going backwards in this race as George Russell looks to have picked up a great slipstream here as we're still hovering onto the back of Reese here in towards the chicane. Can he make this move stick on Sam? We've seen many drivers, especially Reese, going for the overtakes and making it work, but it looks like Reese can be the only Mercedes driver to make that one work, as Sam now is going side by side with George Russell through the Ascari chicane, so they're still fighting away, and you can see, crucially, look, they're losing time between myself and Reese, and I'm just not fighting Reese too crazy here. We're just gently pulling away, but still, there's still 6 cars fighting here. There's still all the cars just going at it. The Renault and the Porsche car getting involved now in the act. They've seen what's going on here, and they're interested, and they're going for it now as we watch on board here. But now we're going to cut back to myself there, who's got the DRS now on Reese. But it's Sam, unfortunately, that is the man that doesn't have any DRS. He's going to get absolutely swamped here. 4 abreast things just went then towards the first corner. It is Hamilton that nicks the position, and fair play to Sam. He's only lost 1 position out of all that, and that's against his teammate Hamilton. Vettel, though, my teammate, is looking to try and find a way through, but it doesn't work out for him. Lap 8 of the Grand Prix, though, and we're onto the back of Reese, and we're starting to really start to apply some pressure now as we move further onwards. And as you can see here, we're just going through the Curva Grande. Actually upshifted too early there, upshifted twice, but it just didn't work out on that occasion. But somehow we've got fantastic slipstream here versus Reese. Now we have a look to the outside line. Reese goes defensive to the inside line, closes us off, but we're going to do exactly what he did to Lewis Hamilton on multiple occasions and just nick the lead of the Grand Prix. So lovely overtake there, great improvisation. Now as we go through towards the Lesmos, the back end sliding a little bit, tyres starting to go off slightly as we've been fighting very, very hard in this Grand Prix. And now through the second Lesmo towards the Ascari chicane. Reese is going to get the DRS though on this straight and come back at us now. So we're going to defend this one to the inside line, but I'm not going to give us too much compromise going through here. So Reese now gets in front, and I'm just going to simply let him on through. There's no point in me just trying to fight him as hard as we possibly can. We've got a 3.6 second gap over Hamilton, and the key thing around here is we can really get edgy on the back end there. The key thing around Monza is slipstream. If you don't have it, the guys can start to pull away. If you then get yourself back into slipstream, if Hamilton and Sam and the Mercedes and Vettel, they all came back at us with slipstream, it would just be an absolute nightmare. So the key thing is to just fight and pick the battles wisely. Now we're onto the back of Reese here, onto the pit straight, and it's an opening up the DRS, and this is what I mean by finally having an engine upgrade. I can close up with someone with DRS, and I can just breeze past them. It's an absolute relief. I don't think I've ever done that in this series yet. It's great. I love engine upgrades. It's still not the fastest though. It's still quite weak, but at least it's something. As we now see George Russell and Charles Leclerc going into battle, and crucially, like I said about the slipstream, it's costing the Mercedes and the Ferrari dearly now with Vettel right in behind there. The 2 McLarens now are pulling away. There's Hamilton, there's Sam, and then Leclerc is not within that 1 second window. He's not going to get DRS. They're fighting hard here. Russell locks up in towards the chicane, but he just about still gets that move on Leclerc, but literally barges Leclerc into the gravel there, so being very aggressive on that front as we go back on board here on lap 9 with Reese, who's again on my tail as we now go towards the Ascari chicane. And this time we're going to defend towards the inside line. Reese, though, is going to go towards the outside line on this occasion. Sorry, the inside line. I defend the outside line. Reese gets the move done. And again, look, I'm not going to stick my nose in there. Not going to compromise us. Not going to waste our time because there's just no point. We need to make sure that we do a great job as Charles Leclerc locks up going into the Ascari chicane. He's just stopped. He's gone into the gravel there. That's a poor mistake from Charles Leclerc. That is exactly what he did not want to happen. As for us, though, meanwhile, lap 11 of this Grand Prix, we're coming in now for a set of the soft tyres to take us to the end of the race. Both Reese and Sam and all my other rivals, they've all pitted for a fresh set of the medium tyres. So they're going on to the slower compound to the end. It's going to give them more tyre life. However, we're going to be on a faster compound. We are going to lose out in terms of some performance versus Reese. We're going to lose out probably about 2-3 seconds depending on how slow we were. Obviously around Monza, the undercut isn't absolutely mental because there's just a lot of straights. So yeah, luckily for us, we've also gone with a extremely low downforce setup. There goes Reese now flying out of the pits there. So in theory, it's not that bad. It could be worse if the 2 McLarens there go side by side behind us. So in actual fact, we've not really done a bad job versus Reese. We've lost the slipstream though, crucially. We're not in that 1 second window that we really want to be of Reese. Now we need to try and get ourselves back into it. Speaking of 1 second windows, Sam is feeling much more comfy on these tyres so far, as we're still trying to warm our tyres up. That's the crucial stage, and that's what I've really noticed in F1 2018. It's much harder when you come out of the pit stops to get the tyres functioning straight away versus the AIs. And as you can see, Sam is very quick on a straight line, but with us having higher engine modes, Sam clearly running with slightly lower engine modes. But crucially, when Sam is running in those lower engine modes, if I run a slightly higher mode than Sam, I have the opportunity to stay ahead of him. And here's another crucial piece of that now. Sam's got the DRS here. Granted, he's not in my slipstream, but look, even with DRS, I was actually beginning to pull away. So that's something to note. But as you can see, going through the Lesmos, again, the back end is a bit squirmish. I'm not comfortable on these soft tyres. I'm not making them work at the moment as I need to. Otherwise, Sam's going to get past me, which he's going to be alongside now as we go towards the Ascari chicane. And that's going to call off my pursuit versus Reese. And I can't have that happen. So this time around, Sam's my championship rival. I'm going to have to fight him off. We're level on points in the championship. I've got to get get him off my back out of that 1 second window, clear me a gap so I can just concentrate, settle back in, and go after Reese. Meanwhile, though, we're going to have a little look further back here for the fight between 4th and 5th, between George Russell and Lewis Hamilton. And Hamilton there is missing a bit of his front wing end plate, so I was wondering why Hamilton dropped off in performance, and that's why he's lost a crucial element of his car, and that's really going to slow him down in this race. So Russell is going to find it very simple to get back past Lewis Hamilton. Critically, though, with Hamilton having so much straight line speed, as you can see here, it's not overly compromising. If George Russell can clear that, oh, that's a bit of a lock up there from Russell, that's going to shove the pair of them wide, and that's going to put my teammate Vettel onto the back of Lewis Hamilton now. But like I said, if Russell can just get out of the DRS range of Lewis Hamilton, which he has now done, he's going to be able to blast off into the distance. Hamilton won't be able to catch him. My teammate Vettel, meanwhile, is now going to join in on the act here and go past Lewis Hamilton. In fact, he's also missing a bit of his front wing end plate there. So Vettel and Hamilton both carrying wing damage then. Vettel is missing a front right end plate, Hamilton missing his front left. So I mean, it's a bit doom and gloom for both sides of things as we now go back on board with Sebastian Vettel here, who is now under pressure. Lewis Hamilton going to go towards the inside line in towards the Parabolica, and on that occasion it's just going to be side by side as Sebastian Vettel now is going to hold it around the outside, but Hamilton's going to get the DRS here, and we kind of see where this is going to pan out. Hamilton's going to open up that DRS and pull to the inside line and make the move on Sebastian Vettel quite cleanly, and yeah, nothing that Seb can do on that occasion, unfortunately, as they now just continue to squabble away. What they can't afford to do is lose too much time, because they've already got extreme amount of damage on their cars, and you can see it there. So it is confirmation. Seb's front right wing damage, and then Hamilton's his front left wing is damaged. Now they've got to really try and work on this, and they're going to be slower, especially in the middle sector. That's where it's going to compromise them most, as Hamilton has a little look in towards the chicane, but I think Seb is more wise to try and hold that one off. I take that back. Hamilton goes up the inside, gives Vettel a little bit of a nudge, actually gives him a boost slightly there, so I think Seb will be appreciative of that in some regards, as they go round the outside and towards the Lesmos there. Sebastian makes the move stick. Hamilton holds it though in towards the second Lesmo here. Vettel just gives him a little bit of space. Hamilton still sticks it in there, so fair play to these two great rivals as they press onwards now. Hamilton with the DRS down towards Ascari. Vettel will have to give up that fight on that occasion. But we go back onto the pit straight, and here comes Seb again. And this is what I mean about the Red Bull's engine upgrade. It's working very, very nicely. And Sebastian Vettel now can make his move on Hamilton. And crucially, with the two of them both having damage, of course, it's just meaning that, you know, it's going to be even harder for both of them to clear out their 1 second window. Who's going to be chirping at this the most is going to be that man behind there, Charles Leclerc. He's going to catch up to these two very, very quickly. Not only are they scrapping really, really hard, but they've got damage to their wings. So he's going to be so much faster than these guys. I would expect him to get onto the back of this very, very quickly. Speaking of Charles Leclerc getting onto the back of it very, very quickly, guess what? He did. So first of all, he dispatches on my teammate Vettel, goes up the inside, and is actually able to get back onto the racing line. So a very, very easy overtake there. And then Vettel did actually try and come back at Leclerc. I think he actually got the overtake done. But Leclerc, once again with the DRS, just showing that, yep, you're not going to get past me that easily, and stays in front. Meanwhile, onto lap 20 of the Grand Prix now. We are closing the gap towards myself and Reese, but Sam now is going to come back at us. So once again, Sam has reignited his pursuit against us, and he nicks second place in this Grand Prix. And tactically, I actually decided to let him go. Now, this seems very, very strange, because Sam, again, if you are not aware of the Drivers' Championship, myself and Sam are level on 163 points. Why would I let Sam go? Critical. We are now in the slipstream and DRS of Sam. If I can just hold that slipstream and DRS on Sam, we'll close up to the back of Reese. Reese is just there. I was gaining on Reese, but Sam just went into light years. And now I'm going to save some fuel, save a little bit of DRS. Got a yellow flag in the background, mind. So something's gone on in towards the Ascari chicane there. So someone's had an off. Looks like one of the Ferraris has had an issue. It's going to be Charles Leclerc. He locks up into... Oh, he's locked up into the chicane there. And he's just gone off slightly. And that's going to cause some problems there. And oh, he's just... Oh my God, he's just taken a... Oh, what just happened to Charles Leclerc? Someone just, oh, it was Ricciardo. So Daniel Ricciardo then, as they go towards the Ascari chicane, he breaks into towards the chicane, and Leclerc just comes back onto the track, and Ricciardo just steamrolls past him, takes heavy damage himself, and just wipes Leclerc out of the Grand Prix. And that is an awful, awful run for Ferrari. But speaking of the fight at the front now, Sam here gets past Reese and takes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix to the delight of everyone down in the McLaren garage, as he now can take control and maybe sprint off into the distance. So my advantage of letting Sam through through so far is not working out. However, Reese is playing part in my plan, even though he doesn't know my plan, as Reese now goes up the inside of Sam in towards the chicane there, and there's Charles Leclerc's wheel floating, as Reese now retakes the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, and now Reese and Sam have gone into combat. It's time for them to fight, and as you can see, I'm just biding my time, saving my fuel, saving my ERS, ready to go for an attack later on. Let these two scrap. I'll close that gap as much as I possibly can, and I was doing everything I could to stick within DRS here of Reese and also Sam. Lap 23 of the Grand Prix now, and concerning times were starting to emerge as Sam here has had a lockup in towards the last corner. He's gone wide. That's cost him a lot of time here critically. Now we're going to go into the attack on Sam. We won't have DRS here because we didn't get into the window. Now though, we're going to go into overtake mode. I knew now that I've just got to absolutely go for it. Reese now looks like he's out of the 1 second window. I've got to make the move on Sam. We're going to go for it here in towards the chicane now, going around the outside on Sam, and we go a little bit deep in towards the first part of the chicane, but it's all right. But we just clipped the sausage curve there. That's not gone too well for us actually. And as we get onto the power now, look at what Sam's going to do now. He's going to sneak his car towards the inside of the Curva Grande, and he's going to come straight back past us again. So Sam turned up his engine this time, as I now try and turn up mine. Now we go towards the outside line of the chicane here, and we try and have a little bit of a switchback line on Sam, see what we could do about it, but it didn't work out on that occasion. In theory, I probably should have done what I did against Reese and go for the overtake that way, but Sam now, once he got back past me, he caught right back up to Reese, and they're going to go for it again now, Sam versus Reese for the race lead, as we're now just settling down in P3. I'm really struggling now to get into the 1 second window. I was pushing like hell to get into that 1 second window, but I just couldn't get there, as Reese now has a little look on Sam with the Ascari chicane coming up now. Reese goes towards the inside line here. Sam sticks it towards the outside line as they blast their way through in towards the chicane here. Reese just about tries to defend the position off. Sam holds on in there as they go for all the Ascari chicane. Now's my best shot here. We're getting closer to the back of the McLaren car, back of the Mercedes car as well. This is it now, lap 26 to start the final lap of the Grand Prix. We are now in window to go against Sam and Reese, but Reese is locked up. Sam has gone and brake checked us. We've lost a bit of our front wing end plate there. We've lost, in fact, the whole piece of our front wing there. Sam is in trouble. Reese caught out in trouble in that, and now all of a sudden we're in trouble. But the crucial thing is we've got DRS on the straight, and we've seen with the likes of Hamilton, with the likes of Sebastian Vettel, you can overtake here. Now we go for the attack on Reese here, up towards the first chicane, breezing past the Mercedes car. We have the race lead with one more lap to go. I've just got to somehow defend the race lead with half a front wing remaining, as we now go on to the second part of lap 27, being nice and careful and cautious. Reese and Sam are fighting in behind, braking literally into third gear into the second Lesmo, trying to drag this thing home. Now we're trying to use every little bit of fuel, every bit of ERS that we've got in towards the DRS zone here. Sam is going to nick second place in this Grand Prix against Reese, but as we now go in towards the Sky chicane, look how slow I'm having to go through here. I've got no front grip right now as we now make that blast, now down towards the Parabolica. This is absolutely critical. We've got Rich Mix, we've got Overtake, we've got all the lot here as Sam goes towards the outside. Reese is going to have a little bit of an attack here on Sam as well. We're going to try and block off Sam, brake early in towards this corner. I've got to brake much earlier to try and get the car turned in, but we do just about that. Managing the car, managing the performance, drag Reese to the line. Myself, Reese and Sam cross the finish line, and what a Grand Prix that was. That was absolutely sensational bit of racing there between myself, Reese and Sam, and as the title will say for this video, that was by far the best race I have ever had in the entirety of doing the F1 journey, and I think I've done about 54 episodes, and obviously this is season 4. That was truly incredible. I can't put into words how much fun I had racing, and it truly brings the love of playing an F1 game to me by making this series and having races like that. And as we can see from the race results here, we won the Grand Prix with Red Bull today. Reese finishes just 8/100ths of a second behind. That's how close it was across the start-finish line. Sam finishes in third place. He lost out to Reese on the literally on the drag towards the line. I gave Reese the slipstream tactically, so Sam didn't get the extra points. Sam finishes in third place. Again, he was only 1/10 of a second off, just under 2/10 behind across the start-finish line. George Russell takes P4 for Mercedes-Benz. He finishes 2.7 seconds off of the pace. He was actually closing up to us in the end, but it wasn't quite enough. Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, finishes in P5, so it's a good day all round for both Mercedes and Red Bull. Vettel finishing 27 seconds off the pace. Of course, he had front wing damage. Devon Butler finishing in P6 for Audi. Good, strong performance for him. He gets 29 seconds off the lead. Pascal Wehrlein in the Porsche car, splitting the two Audis, finishing ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Lewis Hamilton, the pole sitter. Bad race for him, unfortunately. He finishes down in P9. Of course, we now know he also picked up major front wing damage, and that obviously clearly cost him a lot more than what it did to Vettel. Also as well, he got shoved off the track by Charles Leclerc in towards the Ascari chicane, which of course cost him more of that. He probably would have finished just behind my teammate Vettel in P6, but of course, in P6. But of course, as Charles Leclerc blocked his brakes, he shoved Hamilton off, and Hamilton obviously got stuck in the gravel. So that was obviously a messy race for Lewis Hamilton. Esteban Ocon finishing in P10 for Renault. Not the best day for them. Audi and Porsche clearly just had the edge on them in that affair. Now what we're going to do is have a look at the Drivers' Championship after that race, and we remain at the top of the championship now, ahead of Sam, but obviously that gap is only 6 points, obviously. I think it's 6 points anyway. We were level on points, and then Sam got third and also the fastest lap. So it's 9 points actually at the top. I got mistaken. I thought he finished second. So we're on 188 points. Sam is on 179 points. So that gap is getting ever closer now. Or it's actually extended after this race, which is brilliant for us. We are just managing to hang on in that championship right now against the car, which is so much stronger. Bad day for Ferrari in general. They did not score a single point at their home race. Charles Leclerc is still on third on the championship, but on 126 points. That pretty much now rules him out of contention ready for this World Championship. Mathematically, he's still in it, but it looks impossible now that he's going to gain 60 points plus on myself and Sam. George Russell is fourth in the championship, closes up to Charles Leclerc now. He's on 112 points, so it's not over for George in his fight versus Charles Leclerc. Pascal Wehrlein is still fifth in the championship on 87 points. Alonso did not score today, so that means that Pascal Wehrlein does indeed stay where he is and actually extends his advantage against Fernando Alonso. Reese now starts to catapult himself up the championship a little bit here. He's now up to 7th in the championship, and critically, he's tied on points with Fernando Alonso. Obviously, Alonso has won a race this year. Reese has not won a race this year. Therefore, Fernando Alonso stays in front. But Reese now starting to build his way up the pecking order slightly. It's been a rough season for Reese, but he's really beginning to pick it up now. Devon Butler, 8th in the championship on 68 points, tied with Daniel Ricciardo. But again, same scenario as Reese and Alonso. Butler has won a race this season. Ricciardo, I don't believe has even got to the podium. No, he has got the podium. No, he hasn't. So yeah, he stays in front. And then Lewis Hamilton is in P10 in the championship after, again, a scrappy Grand Prix for him. Looking at the Constructors' Championship then, McLaren still lead the way with 243 points. Red Bull now go back in front of Ferrari, who are on 214 points, with us on 232 points now. McLaren are still there for the taking, but of course, there are still plenty more races to go and plenty more attempts for McLaren to rebound back after that one. Mercedes-Benz now pretty much have begun to clear their threat now against Porsche. They're on 180 points. A very, very good day for Mercedes. And like I said, Porsche now on 132 points, and I've now fallen back from Mercedes. Obviously, I believe it's like 127 to 126 at one point between Porsche and Mercedes, and now it's 180 to 132. Mercedes getting their mojo back. Audi are on 124 points, with Renault on 85, and then Jaguar on 9, Ford on 2, Williams on 1. Now what we're going to do is go into the post-race notebook and see what the teams and drivers had to say after that race. And obviously, it was all about the fight at the front between Tom, Reese and Sam. So first things first then, Tom says that was by far his favourite F1 race he's ever competed in. He said it was extremely difficult, extremely stressful, but he was very, very glad that in this race he wasn't just all out defending, he was also getting in the act, attacking as well. He says overall as well that the Aston Martin engine upgrades have worked quite nicely. However, he still believes there is a very big deficit between himself and also the top 3 teams around him, and believes that it's still going to be a very tough fight, but it's extremely fun, and he's very glad to win here at Monza. Tom, Reese and Sam have all hailed their battle, which they have been waiting for. This is probably the first time that I can remember that both Tom, Reese and Sam have, all 3 of them, have been in a scrap together for the race win, no doubt as well. And it was just a fitting way for it to all go down. And again, Christian Horner remarks that by saying the battle was the one that everyone had been waiting for. We all wanted to see Tom, Reese and Sam gunning for it. The 3 that jumped into Formula 1 together, and all in completely different teams going at it, was a great spectacle. But anyway, guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's episode of the F1 Journey. If you guys have enjoyed it, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe if you're new around here as well. Next time around, we're off to Azerbaijan for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Hopefully you guys can tune in then. And until then, I'll see you next time. Take care all. Peace.